There we go. Something's happening. Right, I don't want to get too caught up in the technical difficulties, but let's just make sure that I can be here. All right. I don't know what I can do about looping because all I can do is disconnect and reconnect. So let me know if it still sounds dodgy. I'll disconnect again, but I want to just carry on a little bit. Philip and Boy Solomon, I need feedback to know whether this is working properly. And I know there's a delay, so I'm just gonna talk and sit here and wait for feedback a little bit, and then carry on. And I wonder if I should connect on the other Wi-Fi system. Let's just carry on anyway. Find another video, and then see if we can get the video working properly first time this time. Conversational hypnosis we're on, aren't we? So let's see what we do. As a 17-minute hypnosis demonstration. I don't want to do demonstrations. I'd rather have somebody talking about rather than right. Let's try a little bit of Joseph Murphy. See if I can find some of him, because that's more. There's a model of the mind that's used in all of these things. So Murphy, which is conscious, subconscious. That's what hypnosis uses as a model. Joseph Murphy uses the same model. So it's a fairly standard. Psycho-cybernetics uses the same model as well. So I want to just play a little bit of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. This is Joseph Murphy. Let me set up the screen share again, see if we can get this working properly. Joseph Murphy. Here we go.
language possible. I believe that it is perfectly possible to explain the basic, foundational, and fundamental laws of life and of your mind in ordinary, everyday language. You will find that the language of this book is that used in your daily papers, current periodicals, in your business offices, in your home, and in the daily workshop. I urge you to study this book and apply the techniques outlined therein. And as you do, I feel absolutely.
All right, let's not worry about the audio book. There's obviously some tech issues going on. So I'll just talk and we'll. All right, so yeah, it's the delay. It's the delay in the chat that makes the difference, isn't it? All right, cool. You did hear it. That's good. So you get the idea anyway. It's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. If you want to take a look, there's 6 hours of that on YouTube. It's interesting stuff, and it relates. It comes from the same source as Neville Goddard got his material from. I think they shared the same teacher in New York in the 20s or whenever it was. There's some interesting interpretations, and the model is good. Conscious, subconscious, conscious being male, subconscious being female and receptive, and it's about programming. Ultimately, it's a very simple version of what neuro-linguistic programming and hypnosis do, with repetition and affirmations and shifting assumptions using affirmations. So the affirmations are interesting because you can do a lot of things just by using a 2 or 3 word phrase as a mantra. I've been using I've spoken about this before, but I've been using affirmations with I am at the beginning of them. So I am wealth, I am health, I am beauty. I've been using this week, the good you seek is seeking you, or the good I seek is seeking me. And that tends to bring me food at work. For some reason, when I've got that mantra in my head, people give me food without me even really asking them to. So I find it interesting. I mean, it's just a very simple example, but it brings me stuff. Basically, it brings me physical food. So it's a way of generating something coming towards me, which I like. I like that particular affirmation. I use that quite a lot, off and on. I tend to use it for a month and then take a break and do something else. I get bored quite quickly with affirmations, so I change them over a period of time. But the good I seek is seeking me is a good one. I am beauty, I am health, I am wealth. Brings it into the current moment. So there's nothing in the future about I am. It's all here and now. And that's what makes the difference, is what you're attempting to do. What it's about is bringing the feeling of health into the current moment, bringing the feeling of beauty into the current moment, bringing the feeling of wealth into the current moment, so that it's here and now, and it's a possession, it's a characteristic, it's a description of who you are. So that seems to work for me. I've tested it at work a few times. I used them on a Sunday evening, sometimes to set up the week. And you can usually tell what's being produced. I've been using a technique that I think came from Mana from Hawaii to empower £20 notes, or a £20 note I was holding in my lap, and then visualizing £20 notes coming towards me, which is almost the same thing as the good you seek is seeking you, but in a physical way. It's kind of a empowering or putting energy into the £20 note in your hand, and then when you spend it, it multiplies itself. So let me try another video and see what happens, because it's you don't necessarily want to listen to me for a full hour. It's just trying to find something that's short enough. What about psycho-cybernetics? That's kind of a very similar thing. Or a little bit of Neville Goddard. Let's try a bit of Neville Goddard again. I always go back to this. So the feeling is a secret. I'm just going to start it where it is, because it's always good. It's a short video. It's an hour, but it's very easy to listen to. And I'll share it in the chat room.
Is the natural door into the subconscious. So it is with sleep that we are now concerned. The conscious 2/3 of our life on earth is measured by the degree of attention we give sleep. Our understanding of and delight in what sleep has to bestow will cause us, night after night, to set out for it as though we were keeping an appointment with a lover. In a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumbering upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction. Job 33. It is in sleep and in prayer, a state akin to sleep, that man enters the subconscious to make his impressions and receive his instructions. In these states, the conscious and subconscious are creatively joined. The male and female become one flesh. Sleep is the time when the male or conscious mind turns from the world of sense to seek its lover or subconscious self. The subconscious, unlike the woman of the world who marries her husband to change him, has no desire to change the conscious waking state, but loves it as it is and faithfully reproduces its likeness in the outer world of form. The conditions and events of your life are your children, formed from the molds of your subconscious impressions in sleep. They are made in the image and likeness of your innermost feeling, that they may reveal you to yourself. As in heaven, so on earth, Matthew 6:10. As in the subconscious, so on earth. Whatever you have in consciousness as you go to sleep is the measure of your expression in the waking 2/3 of your life on earth. Nothing stops you from realizing your objective save your failure to feel that you are already that which you wish to be, or that you are already in possession of the thing sought. Your subconscious gives form to your desires only when you feel your wish fulfilled. The unconsciousness of sleep is the normal state of the subconscious, because all things come from within yourself, and your conception of yourself determines that which comes. You should always feel the wish fulfilled before you drop off to sleep. You never draw out of the deep of yourself that which you want. You always draw that which you are, and you are that which you feel yourself to be, as well as that which you feel as true of others. To be realized, then, The wish must be resolved into the feeling of being or having or witnessing the state sought. This is accomplished by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The feeling which comes in response to the question, how would I feel were my wish realized, is the feeling which should monopolize and immobilize your attention as you relax into sleep. You must be in the consciousness of being or having that which you want to be or to have before you drop off to sleep. Once asleep, man has no freedom of choice. His entire slumber is dominated by his last waking concept of self. It follows, therefore, that he should always assume the feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction before he tires in sleep. Come before me with singing and thanksgiving, Psalm 95:2. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise, Psalm 104. Your mood prior to sleep defines your state of consciousness as you enter into the presence of your everlasting lover, the subconscious. She sees you exactly as you feel yourself to be. If, as you prepare for sleep, you assume and maintain the consciousness of success by feeling, I am successful, you must be successful. Lie flat on your back with your head on a level with your body. Feel as you would were you in possession of your wish and quietly relax into unconsciousness. He that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121:4. Nevertheless, he giveth his beloved sleep. Psalm 127:2. The subconscious never sleeps. Sleep is the door through which the conscious waking mind passes to be creatively joined to the subconscious. Sleep conceals the creative act while the objective world reveals it. In sleep, man impresses the subconscious with his conception of himself. What more beautiful description of this romance of the conscious and subconscious is there than that told in the Song of Solomon? By night, on my bed, I sought him whom my soul loveth. I found him whom my soul loveth. I held him, and I not let him go until I had brought him into my mother's house and into the chamber of her that conceived me. Preparing to sleep, you feel yourself into the state of the answered wish, and then relax into unconsciousness. Your realized wish is he whom you seek. By night, on your bed, you seek the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that you may take it with you into the chamber of her that conceived you, into sleep, or the subconscious which gave you form, that this wish also may be given expression. This is the way to discover and conduct your wishes into the subconscious. Feel yourself in the state of the realized wish and quietly drop off to sleep. Night after night, you should assume the feeling of being, having, and witnessing that which you seek to be, possess, and see manifested. Never go to sleep feeling discouraged or dissatisfied. Never sleep in the consciousness of failure. Your subconscious, whose natural state is sleep, sees you as you believe yourself to be. And whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, the subconscious will faithfully embody your belief. As you feel, so do you impress her. And she, the perfect lover, gives form to these impressions and outpictures them as the children of her beloved. Thou art all fair, my love. There is no spot in thee. Song of Solomon 4:7 is the attitude of mind to adopt before dropping off to sleep. Disregard appearances and feel that things are as you wish them to be. For he calleth things that are not seen as though they were, and the unseen becomes seen. To assume the feeling of satisfaction is to call conditions into being which mirror satisfaction. Signs follow, they do not precede. Proof that you are will follow the consciousness that you are. It will not precede it. You are an eternal dreamer, dreaming non-eternal dreams. Your dreams take form as you assume the feeling of their reality. Do not limit yourself to the past, knowing that nothing is impossible to consciousness. Begin to imagine states beyond the experiences of the past. Whatever the mind of man can imagine, man can realize. All objective states, visible states, were first subjective, invisible states. And you called them into visible by assuming the feeling of their reality. The creative process is first imagining and then believing the state imagined. Always imagine and expect the best. The world cannot change until you change your conception of it. As within, so without. Nations as well as people are only what you believe them to be. No matter what the problem is, no matter where it is, no matter whom it concerns. You have no one to change but yourself, and you have neither opponent nor helper in bringing about the change within yourself. You have nothing to do but convince yourself of the truth of that which you desire to see manifested. As soon as you succeed in convincing yourself of the reality of the state sought, results follow to confirm your fixed belief. You never suggest to another the state which you desire to see him express. Instead, you convince yourself that he is already that which you may desire him to be. Realization of your wish is accomplished by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You cannot fail unless you fail to convince yourself of the reality of your wish. A change of belief is confirmed by a change of expression. Every night, as you drop off to sleep, feel satisfied and spotless. For your subjective lover always forms the objective world in the image and likeness of your conception of it. The conception defined by your feeling. The waking two-thirds of your life on earth ever corroborates or bears witness to your subconscious impressions. The actions and events of the day are effects. They are not causes. Free will is only freedom of choice. Choose ye this day from ye shall serve. Joshua 24:15 is your freedom to choose the kind of mood you assume. But the expression of the mood is the secret of the subconscious. The subconscious receives impressions only through the feelings of man, and in a way known only to itself, gives these impressions form and expression. The actions of man are determined by his subconscious impressions, his illusion of free will, his belief in freedom of action, is but ignorance of the causes which make him act. He thinks himself free because he has forgotten the link between himself and the event. Man awake is under compulsion to express his subconscious impressions. If in the past he unwisely impressed himself, then let him begin to change his thought and feeling. For only as he does, so will he change the world. Do not waste one moment in regret. For to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself. Let the dead bury the dead. Matthew 8:22. Turn from appearances and assume the feeling that would be yours were you already the one you wish to be.
Okay, let's stop it there. I always come back to Neville Goddard anyway, so dipping in and out is easy with Neville Goddard because everything he says is repeated over and over again from different perspectives. But one thing he said in that clip that I wanted to pick up on is the cause and effect relationship that he's talking about, which where the cause is in the psychology of the person looking at the world. So it's in the being of the person looking at the world. If you want to see the world as a constructive, supportive, helpful place, then you need to become constructive, supportive, and helpful, and make that your being, make it who you are, and then you will see the world as you are. How that works, I'm not altogether sure. It's your subconscious projecting out and going out and finding situations that reinforce your assumptions about the world, presumably, but I don't know exactly how it works. I just know it works because I've tested it. And the cause is internal, the effect is external. That's the point that he's making in a very simple way. And it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be 50 NLP techniques. It can be as simple as just falling asleep, being satisfied with the world. If the world's supportive and the world is giving you what you need, then be satisfied. Be accepting of it. There's lots of things in the world that you maybe don't want to be part of, or the situations that are being political situations that are being manipulated, whatever. Don't buy into them. Just don't buy into them. See the world as you are. So be the change you want to see in the world is another way of expressing that. And be the way the world, be the way that you want the world to be. So if you want the world to be supportive and open and generating of new ideas and uplifting and all of those things, if you want the world to be good in its simplest terms, be whatever you define good as, be that. Be beauty. If you want to see the world as beautiful, be beauty. If you want to see the world as wealthy, be wealth. If you want to see the world as healthy, be health. So it's as simple as that, really. There's nothing too complicated about it. You can train yourself to think in a way the way you see beauty in the world. It might take a bit of practice, and there might be some contradictions, but you can train yourself to do that. It is possible. Even in situations I've been in a couple of years ago, living basically in poverty in a house that was falling apart around me, and I found something inside me. I found something inside me in that situation because there was nothing on the outside to lean on. I had to find it inside. And I found happiness inside. Stopped looking for it on the outside because there was no way to see it on the outside until I saw it on the inside. Yeah, I am as I am. That's exactly what I'm saying, Philip. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's a formula. Yeah, Mitzi, gratitude, balance. Gratitude's an important thing. Forgiveness is an important thing. Forgiving yourself is a key to how this stuff works. And being thankful for what you've got is accepting what you've got as it is. Start from where you are. I start from where I am. Got to accept the world as it is, and then look for beauty in it. And I'm gonna do the station thing again and tell you where to find me online, just in case you didn't hear the beginning of the show. So the show's called Free Association. Revolution Radio is revolution.radio. I'm on Studio B, 11 a.m. every Saturday, Eastern Time. Start time is 4 o'clock in the UK at the moment, but the clocks will be moving, so it'll change slightly at the end of this month, and then the clocks will move in the US, and it'll get complicated, and I'll have to work out what time it is, but I'm sure it'll all be good. You can find me at freeassociationradioshow.com and on Discord at Free Association Radio Show Live. That's the name of the server on Discord. So if you want to have a conversation with me, leave me a message there. I'm Open Philosopher on Skype. So if you want to talk to me on Skype, you can find me as Open Philosopher. On YouTube, look for Open Philosopher or Free Association Radio Show. There's a few places to find me. There's lots of places to find me. But if you want to have a conversation on air, I'm open to that. So Philip or Boy Solomon or Mitzi, if you want to come on air, I'm quite happy to bring you in on Skype. I'll have a conversation with you first, get to know you a little bit, and then bring you in. And we'll have a conversation on the air and see how things are going. I want to bring other people in that I know at some point. I've reached out to a couple of people that I like. Ryan Dawson is one of them, but the time zone difference is tricky because he's in Japan. So if I can find a way to make that happen live, I'll do it live. If not, it might be a recorded interview session. There's some people in Newcastle I want to bring on here occasionally, but they've got a philosophy meeting at exactly the same time as I do the show, so that's a bit tricky. But I'm going to try and work out a way to do that. If I can't manage to do that, I'll just put out some of their meeting live, because I'm involved in it before I come on air, so I could potentially just feed the discussion that they're having into the show. Mitzi, just reach out on Skype if you've got Skype, or send me a message through the chat room. You can do that as well. But Skype's probably better if you want to come on air. I'm quite happy to open this show up. I don't mind talking for an hour, but I lose my voice sometimes, so it's better to play videos here and there. And if there's somebody else in the conversation, it makes it easier for me to bounce off, and it keeps things going a little bit. So there's some games we can play that are free association games, word games that I used to do on another station when I was on there. And I'd like to get that going here. We could do an hour of that here and there if there's people who want to join in. So anybody who wants to join in, just find me on Skype. Tell me who you are, and we'll have a chat there. And I'll if I can get 2 or 3 people together, or 3 or 4 people together, we can do the free association as philosophical method thing that I used to do, and it'll make a radio show, and everybody will get to know everybody else very quickly, because it's just very free conversation. So that's what I've got in mind for this show eventually. It doesn't have to be me forever. It can be a group conversation. It can be a group free association. So we're coming up to the end of the show. Once again, the show's called Free Association. Revolution Radio is listener supported. So if you can spare $5 or $10 a month, head on over to revolution.radio, set up a Patreon subscription, and you can donate monthly that way, or you can send a money order or whatever. I'll see you next